G'day, I thought given that we're coming to the end of 2023 I might just bring you on a short bushwalk with me. So I'm in Banksia Woodland on the Swan coastal plain in southern Western Australia on Noongar boodja, that's Noongar land. The Noongars are the first Australians of this part of Australia. So predominantly Banksias in this bushland. With some jarrah trees as well and tuits, and the Candlestick Banksias are still flowering. This is Banksia attenuata with these sort of narrow leaves, and it's called a Candlestick Banksia because that looks a bit like a candlestick. See that wonderful Macrozamia over there? I have to duck because there's a big spiderweb. So this is an ancient plant. These existed before the dinosaurs, before the flowering plants evolved. And we've got evidence here of kangaroos. Now you're going to think this is gross, but they only eat grass, pretty much, so, I mean, I will wash my hands after touching this, but kangaroo poo. We've got some paper daisies here. Can you see that? There's a little daisy. Oh, a climbing Fringe Lily. Oh, it's closing its flowers, but I actually wasn't expecting to see this. See these gorgeous flowers? It's got a gorgeous fringe on each petal. That's a Fringe Lily, and it's climbing the grass tree. How gorgeous. That's a shame. Unfortunately, not everyone values the bush, so people have dumped their rubbish here. That's such a shame to see that. Don't want to bring you down. Sorry guys, let's go look at some more pretty flowers. Ooh, Jacksonia. Here we go. In the pea family, the same family as the Acacia, so peas are known for their nitrogen fixing properties, and this type of flower is typical of the pea flower. The acacia flower is very different, but in the same family. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but beautiful pelican just flying over. Probably been to the tip. I'm not too far away from a tip. Oh, look at this Banksia menziesii cone. They look so stunning. See how these leaves are thicker than the attenuata, the Candlestick Banksia? I've spotted a buzzing insect that looks interesting, so I'm just going to check it out. Ooh! Oh, can you see that? Look, it looks like it's actually feeding. There you go, look at that. It's feeding on something by the looks of it. I really need to put my glasses on. Look at those eyes, those wings. That's amazing. Oh, look at that. Here we go, I spotted this from the other side and I just had to come over and show it to you. Look at it, it's just, you wouldn't expect to find something so stunningly beautiful. Come on, focus, there we go, look at that. Look at that beautiful Fringe Lily flower. How gorgeous. That is stunning. I just found an Acacia Cyclops that's got a really good display of flowers and seed pods. So these are this year's flowers, gorgeous. Little yellow fluffy balls. Well, that's an inflorescence. There's lots of flowers in the one there. And these are the seed pods. So this is where it gets its name, Acacia Cyclops, or red-eyed wattle. Or it's called coastal wattle as well because it grows on the coast. Now see this red? The black in the centre is the seed. The red is a juicy, fleshy aril, A-R-I-L. That, I'll come around this side, that is high in protein and good for birds and ants to eat. This one here looks like basket bush. You can't see very well now, but when it's in flower, the flower clumps look a bit like a basket. And boy, do they stink. They attract flies to pollinate them, so flies like disgusting smells compared to humans. So not a particularly pleasant smell, the basket bush. Now, again. Ooh, good size Acacia Cyclops here. Lots of flowers. So a lot of people don't realise that we have flowers all year round in the bush. It's not just in spring. In fact, the Banksia menziesii and the Banksia attenuata, being both in this bushland, is excellent for nectar feeding mammals and birds because they need nectar year round, and they each flower for 6 months of the year, alternating between the two. So if you've got menziesii and attenuata in the same bushland, you should have nectar year round. It's not in flower, but the leaves are much longer than the Cyclops. Gorgeous candle Banksia. So that's the young flower. The bee's actually trying to get to the nectar, but they haven't really opened properly, those flowers, yet. And then this is the old one. Oh, and here's a really cute young one. Look at that. These narrow leaves, much more narrow than the menziesii. Here's a baby Banksia. Hello, baby Banksia. Good to see natural regeneration happening in this bushland. Gorgeous. That makes me happy. Those cicadas are getting louder. They're really interesting cicadas. Did you know that they spend most of their life underground? Then they climb up to the surface once they're ready to mate. They don't have wings until then, so they come up to the surface, find themselves a little tree to sit on and shed off their exoskeleton to reveal a set of wings. and then they mate. They fly around and mate, and I'm afraid that's, you know, that's it for the rest of their life. They don't live too much longer after that, as far as I'm aware. Just want to check out this basket bush. Oh, here we go. This is a better one for you to see. You can sort of see how these look like little baskets. Sort of. Basket? Oh. There's a decent grass tree here. You can see how it's been burnt years ago, and then from that age it started growing. It hasn't been burnt because those leaves haven't died, or they haven't burnt off. They might be dead leaves, but that's actually important habitat. Good hiding places for little mammals and lizards and all sorts of things. Here's something interesting I just want to point out. Sometimes you see these really strange growths on plants, and look, I don't know what this one is exactly, but usually they are caused by some sort of insect. And that's actually a good sign, because it means that the insects that have evolved with these plants are still around, like they've evolved together. So you don't tend to see this sort of deformation on a non-native species in the suburbs, in the streets where various different plants have been planted, because there's no symbiotic relationship with the local insects, and they haven't evolved here over millennia, over millions of years. So that's actually a good sign. Here's another gorgeous Banksia menziesii flower cones. I'm going to show you. Oh, I'm not sure what that is, but look at that patterning. It's actually quite velvety to touch. Oh, look at this. Oh, and here we've got new little baby leaves. Gorgeous. They're a bit velvety to touch too. I'll just point out, see, the Jacksonias are growing here next to the path. And that's common, because they often, like acacias, will grow fairly prolifically in a disturbed area. So where this path has been put through, they tend to be colonising species because they fix nitrogen to the soil, so they come in and recolonise bushland to help prepare it for the other plants to move back in when there's a disturbance, and that might be fire or it might be human clearing. I just wanted to show you, this is the seed pod. Again, that's why it's part of the pea family. See, it's like a pea pod. Some gorgeous candlesticks on this Candlestick Banksia up ahead. I'm very slow at walking through the bush, but it's just that I get so distracted. Oh, here's a bee. Not a native bee, unfortunately. I was hoping it might be. No. That is a European honeybee. Cool. It's quite sandy. Can you see this? How sandy and low in nutrients. That's why it's so important to plant what grows naturally in your area, because so this is a Conostylis, that's the flowers, that's the seed head now. Gorgeous strappy leaved plant. You can put them in your garden if you live nearby. So yeah, as I was saying, it's important to plant local plants, because these have evolved here over millions of years in this really nutrient poor soil. Here's another example of insects having an impact on how the branch grows. So at some stage an insect's gotten in there and changed, just like probably burrowed in there somewhere, and then this has grown all deformed because of the insect in there somewhere doing its thing. There's an old one. Yeah, so don't worry about Banksias if you see that sort of odd growth on them. It's pretty typical. There's more. Oh, some good hollows on those trees. Look at that. Birds would love them. Little ones. See how the Acacia Cyclops leaves have got, they didn't have that prominent mid-rib vein that the Acacia saligna had. Sorry, I say mid-rib vein, and you don't know what I'm talking about. It's the deep, the prominent, here it is, perfect timing. Down the middle of the leaf, there's a prominent vein that's actually raised up. That's an identifying feature of Acacia saligna. And the leaves vary from skinny to wide and all over the place. Look at those. Two more. Stunning. Look at that. Oops. Wow. Fringe lily. And this is the actual plant itself, just the green climbing body part of it, which is not focusing. There we go. And then it just flowers like that. How beautiful. I can hear a laughing dove in the background. Not a native species, but a very common sound because we're getting closer to suburbia, and they survive quite well in suburbia. I'm coming to the end of the walk now, so I hope you've enjoyed it, going a little bushwalk with me. Yeah, may you have a good year in 2024, and may you get to spend time in nature and hug trees, smile at rainbows, take in long deep breaths of fresh air. Love our planet because it's a beautiful planet. And I'll see you soon on Life in the Bush.